Sarvebhyo Namaha. Today I will be speaking on cosmic consciousness and astronomical association of Nataraja's dance with Apasmara and Agastya. The three key points. The first key point will try to understand what does Nataraja has to do with Orion. Is it a composite form of Mrigashish and Ardra Nakshatra? Is Nataraja an astronomical case? The second key point will be discussing the discovery of Apasmar, that is Muyalagan, as a constellation in the iconography of Nataraja, which is nothing but the Indian homeland in Western star chart as constellation Lepus. The focus on third point, which goes little beyond an understanding of Apasmara, indicate a loss of an astronomical event, if any. How is it connected to Agastya via name Apasmara, which means epilepsy, a strange name given to an asura? So to find out about the three key points, we come to a hypothesis, that is Prameya, a theory that says Nataraja is Orion, Apasmara is Lepus, and both are Indian homeland. To access into this theory, that is to deduce a proof out of this theory, here I take a scientific methodology of double triangular metrics out of 8 types of evidences. The first triangle takes Pratyaksha, Anumana and Shabda. Pratyaksha is direct cognizance, a formal knowledge. Anumana is inference, conjecture, something like if Nataraja and Orion have any connection, or if Apasmara and Lepus have any connection. Can this lead to Upamana? Shabda is testimony via facts and truth, references from knowledge, Agama. The inverse triangular matrix will be deduced via Upamana, that is analogy, a comparison of two things for more clarifications. This will be based on Aitihya, that is history or memory via culture, tradition, practices. Finally, the cohesiveness will appear from apparentness, and all these evidences will deduce final proof to the assumed theory. Let us see via Purva Paksha further if Pratyaksha, Anuman and Shabda sees the Uttara Paksha, Upamana, Aitihya and final deduction, Arthapatti. Let us see the embedded memories via iconographies. Nataraja in our consciousness. He is the deity of creation, destruction, rebirth, dissolution, and salvation. He is Bijadhyaksha and Bijakarta, बीज कारणों के उत्पादक. Interestingly, बीज in Surya Siddhanta is correction, alteration made in time to time. He is Vashyo Vashakarah Kalihi. He is Nritya Narto Nartakaha. So he is continuously dancing. Iconography of Nataraja. A quick glance over it. Left leg is lifted up with toes stretched. Abhay and Gajahasta Mudra, one hand holding Damru, which is a symbol of new creation. Uluvation and drumming is still used in many cultures for new arrivals. Abhay Mudra hand has coiled snake, which reminds me of Vedic hymns Sarpebhyo Namaha, pertaining to many galaxies. One can see Apasmara being trudged upon by Nataraja. Next. Iconography of Apasmara. One can see Apasmara with Anjali hand mudra or playing with a snake. Apasmara is a dwarf too. Apasmara in Sanskrit means epilepsy, lunacy, a sleep state where little consciousness is still there. Muyalagan comes from word Tamil word Muyala meaning rabbit. Next. Agastya, a dwarf Muni, Canopus. Agastya is known as Rishi as well as Muni. He is found in almost all Indic scriptures, ranging from Rig Veda to Purana and Itihasas. Especially in Mahabharata, he has been mentioned as a great hunter of old times and also as drinking up ocean. Agastya Muni is also a dwarf. We are still going by Pratyaksha. Next. Festival Arudra Darsanam of Tamil Nadu is one of the direct evidence via direct cognizance and aitihya. The Tamils have carried it in their memory via Arudra Darisanam festival till to this date. Its antiquity may be from the times when vernal equinox was happening in Ardra during 6000 BCE to 5000 BCE. This evidence comes out from Taittiriya Krishna Yajurveda Samhita rendition, which says Tasmai te Rudra Samvatsaren Namaskaromi. We should know that Taittiriya was edited by Vedavyasa also. Next. Iconographies of Orion and Lepus from Western star chart. One can see Hunter Orion lifting one of his legs similar to Nataraja's Karana. He also trudges upon constellation Lepus. This iconography instantly reminds of Nataraja and Apasmara. Next. Let us understand Nataraja and Apasmara Uttarpaksha. This is by comparing embedded memories of different iconographies via Upamana and Shabda Pramana. Next. So first, triangulation, Pratyaksha, Anumana, Shabda. Let us understand via different slides how the sky condition, Orion, Lepus, Ardra, Mrigashesha Nakshatra, Arudra, Darishanam festivals look like, and what Anuman, that is Nataraja Kuthan, is it Orion? Apasmara-Muyalagan, is it Lepus? And Shabda, that is testimony, that references from Mahabharata as Nartaka, Ardra from Taittiriya, Chidambaram Mahatmya, Nataraja and Apasmara reduce Upamana, Ahitya and Arthapatti. Next, let us see how Ardra and Mrigashesh looks like in the sky. This is how it would look like. Ardra is the Betelgeuse in the upper portion. The three belt stars Alminal, Almintak, Mintaka makes Mrigashesha Nakshatra. Below we can see a Lepus constellation. and in the vicinity we can see many star clusters. Next, let us see how Nataraja looks like in the sky. This is how when Nataraja is superimposed over Orion constellation, that is Ardra and Mrigashish, it would look like. And Apasmara gets superimposed over Lepus, completing Nataraja's iconometry. Next, Festival Arudra Darshanam Shabda Pramana. Moon in Ardra, the day Shiva becomes Nataraja while rising during today's December-January Margazhi month. I have tilted the iconometry of Nataraja to show how this will rise via east, and when the moon comes in Ardra Nakshatra, the festival is celebrated. This is the time period when vernal equinox was happening near Ardra 6000 to 5000 BCE, and this also coincides with Sri Nilesh Oak's timeline of Mahabharata. Thus, one can corroborate why Shiva Sahasranam Strotam is present in Mahabharata. Next, so finally, one of the logics are complete. The next triangle is Upamana, and via analogy, where iconographies of Nataraja overlays Orion, Apasmar overlays Lepus. Via Atihya, history of navigation, Nataraja, who is also known as Kuthan in Tamil Nadu. He is known as Kalapurusha in Bengal and Orissa. He is known as Kuthu, which is nothing but Mrigashirsha Nakshatra in Kerala. Ateya is again derived via Shabda Pramana, that is testimony. Upamana has been derived from Anumana. The Anumana of Apasmara, which comes from lunacy, in turn from Luna, which is Shashi. Muyalagan of Tamil comes from Muyala, which means rabbit, which in turns again means Shashi. We know that Mrigashirsha Nakshatra's deity is also called Shashi. Therefore, finally we deduce via Arthapatti, the final deduction and the proof is that Nataraja is a constellation Orion and Apasmara is a constellation Lepus. Next, importance of Karana in marking directions for navigation. India was intensely into navigation because of its colossal coastal area. Therefore, Orion served as a compass. One can see from the image how Gajahasta points to Agastya Canopus, left leg toe points to Sirius and Vela, the Prabha Mandal orb of flame, which would mean many star clusters are around Mrigashirsha Nakshatra. We can see Sarameya, we can see Punarvasu, we can see Agrahayani, which is very much debated for Mrigashirsha itself, which is also locating Kritika, which is also locating Rohini. Apasmara Shashi is already touched upon. This is how Mrigashirsha nakshatra comes from Mrigayati, that means chaser. Therefore, Nataraja is being said as Nakshatra Sadhakaha in Shiva Sahasranam Strotam also. Shiva Sahasranam Strotam also says about Ardra, that is Rudranam api yo Rudraha Prabha Prabhavatam api. That means he is the sire Rudra amongst all the Rudras, and he is the most effulgent, and he is the starting point. That it is interesting to note here why he is called Prabhavatamapi, why he is the starting point. This question will remain here. Next. Does Apasmara mean more in Indian context? How does it connect with Agastya? Below Chidambaram latitude, it was never an issue of Agastya's visibility, even when Agastya served as a South Pole star. Therefore, Chidambaram latitude is one of the most important latitude when Agastya's declination decreased. It might have started appearing on Chidambaram horizon, which gave a bliss to this horizon due to its non-visibility for few thousands of years. Conclusion. Yes, Nataraja has to do something with Orion, that is Mrigashresha plus Ardra Nakshatra. The points above elaborated, discussed, tested concludes that Nataraja in the sky is an astronomical case. Discovery of Apasmara-Muyalagan as a constellation in the iconography of Nataraja is the most important find via this paper, which is nothing but Indian homeland in Western star chart as constellation Lepus, via DTM method to deduce the proof from various evidences. In fact, constellation Lepus may not find a valid interpretations, but Indian Muyalagan will definitely find its association with Agastya's invisibility. Apasmara indicates loss of an astronomical event of visibility of Agastya from certain latitude at different epoch, deducing the truth about its visibility problem. During its non-visibility, Apasmara itself served for the direction south. This shall be discussed in yet another time. Next. After this conclusion, I come to an esoteric understanding of cosmic consciousness. Mrigashesha and Bindu and its connection with cosmic consciousness. The three parallel horizontal lines drawn using ash bhasma on forehead of Shiva and their devotees with the help of Mrigashesha mudra is known as Tripundra, an anomic way to remember Mrigashesha three-belt stars from Orion. It is interesting that via epigenetic memory, we might be carrying that the solar system lies within the Orion spur itself. Thus, he is the sire Rudra from where correction of time is made, and his name is Kali also. In Shiv Sahasranam Strotam, we find Vashyo Vashakaraha Kalihi, Rudrat Pravartate Bijam, Naktam Kalishcha Kalascha Makaraha Kala Pujitaha. These few verses gives us a hair-raising experience how our ancients knew that our solar system lies in the Orion spur and how this Bindu acts as a spindle just diametrically opposite is the Mula Nakshatra from where the universe emerges. I will end up in this esoteric note. Thank you for listening me.